schwarzer Haufen, ja, und voll mit Tyrannen raufen, ja, Spieß voran, rauf und dran, setzt aufs Klosterdach den roten Hahn. Spieß voran, rauf und dran, setzt aufs Klosterdach den roten Hahn. Als Adam grub und Eva spann, Kyrieleis, wo war denn da der Edelmann?
Good morning, Dan back here. It's been a little while since I've done a ration video, and so what we have here is this Reproduction World War II German ration. I purchased this like 2 years ago. Took several months to arrive. It came, I believe, from Russia, so who knows if you can even get one anymore. But I've been wanting to check this out, and it's kind of vintage itself at this point. So without further ado, let's check it out. In this kind of nifty brown wax paper packaging. I also have some original German ration artifacts we can check out here as well, but we'll start with reviewing the ration, getting it open, and all that. So, open up our paper here. We got an inner layer of paper. It's kind of cool paper. I might keep that. I don't know if this is how they were originally packaged. We're going to reference our book here. See what it shows us. So it looks like we got 2 packs. Let's see. What is this? Whatever it is, it's kind of hardened at this point. Oh, this is coffee. You can see it was an instant coffee, but it's kind of like, it looks like it's deteriorated inside this package. You can see the print there in German. So this says German Wehrmacht, German Army coffee. 2 packets that are now turned into some sort of waxy plastic. Nachtbrot, that's like a cracker. My German is very minimal, but I can tell you much that is like a hardtack type biscuit. So that's what's in there. So it looks like we have 2 packs of crackers. Let's see. Another packet of that coffee, which is probably no good. And what do we have here? 1 portion Herbson Soup. So this is like an instant soup, which this was kind of common in European rations. These blocks of soup. If you checked out my Russian ration, it had a block of soup. And then what we have here is a modern can of some sort of stew, I believe, is what when I remember when I bought this. So you have soup, stew, and coffee. Nothing real exciting here, but primarily the German army relied on field kitchens more than they did field rations. They had rations obviously as necessary, but as much as possible they try to prepare hot food for their troops. Of course, as the war, pardon me, of course, as the war went on, the availability of both quality field rations and hot food that was of the same quality at the beginning of the war was rare. You know, the logistics situation in Germany continued to deteriorate, especially post 1943, as the war really started to shift out of their favor. So you probably would have seen less of these types of rations and more just whatever they could get. A lot of pea soup and what have you. So I do have an original tin here. This one, I think, is dated 1944. Would have contained probably some sort of like potted meat or stew. But that's... All right, so we're going to get that soup going in this mess pot here and see what we can, how that's going to turn out. Get our package open up. And then while that's happening, we'll maybe look at the book here and see if we can glean any insight into this coffee. Because I'm kind of curious on, one, how to prepare it, and two, it's supposed to be like that. Keep that little package. Yep, just a typical block of soup. It's almost identical to the one in that Russian video. I think it is. Made by the same people. So, there's a little block of soup. Yeah, if I had to guess, this is the same instant soup that was in this World War II Soviet ration I made, which was actually pretty good. And it's interesting how they make this soup, but it is pretty good. So we're just going to drop that whole thing in there and see what happens. We'll let that soak. It's got beans and everything in it, it looks like dried lentils. It was like a pretty hearty soup. So let's check out and see how they did with this coffee. This is a great reference book if you're into uniforms and the World War II era, especially German, but I like studying all parts of all sides. I like the equipment. There's a look at some of what came in it. There's the packages of bread, which you can see pretty identical. You have your butter dish. They would have always carried like butter or lard. You had a dish like that to use on the bread or hard bread. There's your utensil set, the Espit stove. There's some Shaka Kala, which is the coffee, or excuse me, the caffeinated chocolate. See right here, we can see that set of utensils, very similar to the Yugo ones I have. Here's those tins, like here's that, and the chocolate tin, and then there's the hard bread again. Some more ration items here. Some more soups. So, here's the hard bread again. Some other accessories. More various accessories. Here's the Espit being used with the mess cup. Here's the little sachet of coffee. Doesn't give much information. Like, yeah, it just says some items essential to condiments for preparing comforting cup of coffee in the field. So I guess we'll just experiment with that. And lastly, some more like candies and things like that. Coke was very popular in Germany up until the war prevented Coca-Cola from selling Coke syrup to Germany, and that's actually where Fanta comes from. Is they were, couldn't get Coke, so they decided, well, we got to make some other carbonated beverage, and they came up with Fanta. And the original Fanta wasn't orange flavored; it was like an apple flavoring. They were using like, I think, like leftover apple scraps, and they made a flavoring, and they made a carbonated apple soda, and that was the original Fanta. And a lot of people, some people know that, but that Fanta came out of World War II Germany, but it wasn't anything truly associated with the Nazis. The head of Coke in Germany wasn't really a member of the party or anything, I don't believe. So, but Fanta was originally developed by the German division of Coca-Cola during World War II. So a little related fact there. Well, I don't know what to do with this coffee. We're going to open one up. It's like a hard paste. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to do anything with that. I guess those will just be for display. So I guess this video won't be too exciting with this ration. I guess let's check out one of these breads. Yeah, I got another one. Let's just tear into it. They almost remind me of like matzo crackers. Oh, oh, look at those. Those are some hearty looking biscuits there. These would probably be a lot better with some jam or something of that nature, but let's take a check. Oh, no. They're definitely very stale. 2 years has not been well to these. Still totally edible, but they're definitely stale. I mean, look at the grains in that. These European biscuits that come in some of these European rations, Nate and I have had ones like this very similar in new rations, you know, actual military issue. And they're always really good. They're very hearty. We don't really get anything like this in the United States. These really hearty, like crackers. Some Nutella jam or like butter on this would be really good. It'd be great in the soup. We'll find that out here in a little bit. Probably should start like breaking that down, stirring it a little bit. Yeah, it's like there we go. It might take a while. I might have to cut back to this in a little while, but I guess since the ration part of this is pretty short, we'll I already know what's going to be in that can. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a blob of fatty meats, just like what was in that World War II Russian Soviet ration I made. I'm not even going to open it. I'm telling you, it's going to be like spam in there with probably some grains, and I just don't want to eat it, so I'm not going to get into it. But let's check out the Mp40, because that's kind of like the elephant in the room back here. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Alright, so this hasn't been the most exciting review. I apologize. I mean, it's kind of a real basic ration. Not a lot to it, but that's how things were in World War II. They didn't have the real advanced MREs like we have now, because mainly they relied upon field kitchens, and these are just like a last resort. You had something to eat sort of thing. So, but we're going to check out this Mp40 Replica. This is a Denix Mp40, so they're kind of like a relatively cheap, but fairly well-made, accurate reproduction weapons. So when this comes, it comes, Bakelite comes black. I'm in the process of trying to get that Bakelite brown finish, so I'm not done with it yet. It's too like orange, but that's how these would have originally been. This would have been like a real dark Bakelite rather than black. So the Mp40 was the standard submachine gun really in World War II for the German military. It replaced a lot of the earlier models like the Mp18, Mp28. If you watch my Lanchester video, you'll see what those would have looked like, because the Lanchester's a copy of those. 9mm from a detachable box magazine. This weapon would go on to influence a lot of other weapons after the war, during the war. The foldable stock, if you look, is very similar to what Russians use on AKs. This was first copied by the Russians to be used on the PPSH-43. So it did have a lot of influence. It was very popular. The Spanish and the Yugoslavians made their own versions of these after the war, because there was a high demand for them, but they weren't being made anymore. Like a lot of German submachine guns, to charge it, and you lock the bolt up. That's your safety, essentially. When you're ready to fire, you smack that down, bolt goes forward, and you're ready to, the weapon's now ready to fire. Just an icon of the war. There's not a lot to say about it. It's just like probably one of the most iconic weapons the Germans used. Any World War II movie, you'll see these in it. So But that's the Denix um, Mp40 Replica. The only criticism I have for it is when you come, it has like a brand new finish. I took some like sandpaper and kind of added some weathering to it, and then and it comes with the black uh, furniture. And like I said, I'm working on that. It's a work in progress to get that right color. I got to add some more layers of stain to it. So, but if you're interested in having one of these hanging on your wall, because you can't find a real Mp40, because even a demilitarized one that doesn't shoot will cost you about $4,000 to $5,000. You can pick these up for about 200 bucks. I recommend going to the U.S. Replica Gun Company because they will actually weather it for you and add the right finish to it. This one I picked up from a friend, but if you want one that looks really authentic, go to the U.S. Replica Gun Company. So, yeah, that's the Mp40, and we'll be back to the soup here in a minute. All right, so got that soup, and we're gonna try out this biscuit dipped in the soup, which it does improve the biscuit quite a bit. Like I said, it's just a little stale, but I'm always impressed with the quality of these European crackers that come in all these rations. Like I said, nothing like that you can get in the United States, at least that I've found. If you know where to get something like this, let me know. Especially like some of the real airy, flaky ones that come in some of the like Polish, German rations. But the soup, it's definitely good. It needs to cook longer. It's mainly a lentil soup with, I assume, a chicken broth. And this would have been, I mean, like you think about it, like really comforting after a day of combat if you had the time to sit down and prepare this properly. I mean, lentils are very nutritious. It's been a hearty soup to warm you up, especially if you're fighting in the cold. And with those biscuits and especially a cup of coffee, that would really, improve your day. I wish I could have made the coffee. Fortunately, it's deteriorated into a strange state. I haven't had any coffee yet, and it's about 7 a.m., so I need some. But, overall, it was a very simple ration, not a lot to talk about, but that's how these rations were back then. They mainly relied on field kitchens, and the rations were like kind of used only when needed. So, put the pot of soup down. So that's all I really have on that. Uh, Videos coming up: Soviet weapons, or the Cold War era, 50s and 60s. Have some different stuff that can show you there: hand grenades, landmines, and other small arms, RPG, that type of thing. So I think you guys will like that. Got a new MCIC ration we can check out, along with a seismic intrusion detector from Vietnam, going along with my Cold War tech theme I have. So also picked up a 90s era LRP. I'm saving that for when Nate gets back in town. Him and I will check that one out. So hope you enjoyed. I know it wasn't a real exciting video this time, but I have some more planned. Thank you.